we know that Rob is a dog. He is a dog.
Rob the dog. Yes, people, welcome back. So, in case you wasn't aware, there was UFC on this weekend, not just boxing, which we will get into at some point, but there was Rob Whittaker versus Gastelum, which is the only fight I can remember because, I'm not going to lie, I was asleep. UK fans get it, it was an early one. But, yeah, let's discuss it.
Let's go. Bobbie Knuckles, mate. Honestly, Bobbie Knuckles. It was, I said to you before the fight, it was going to go, I could see it playing out any which way. I could see Gastelum winning, I could see Rob winning,
50,
I could see, yeah, exactly. It was so evenly split that I don't think anyone was edging it going into it. I think they were both coming off decent wins, they're both coming off decent performances. I know Gastelum had a few losses before,
Yeah.
but I really saw it going either way, but it was not the case.
I think
It was not the case whatsoever.
I think for Rob, I'm going to call him Rob because we're mates.
I call him Bobbie Knuckles, but that's just me.
Many a name. But like he's just shown that, like he's the guy, right? He's championship. Do you know what I mean? Like that loss to Adesanya. Like, I think I'm sure we'll get into this at a later date. That fight may be different if they rematch, but he's shown since then he's got better. Definitely got better,
1000%.
and he's shown that. He's a champion, do you know what I mean? Right, he might not have the belt, and he's never really cared too much about the championship status. He just wants to fight, but
he's that dog.
He's that level.
He's that level. That's exactly what I thought when I was watching him. And again, we'll discuss it at a later day. But all I could think, especially at the end, I was thinking, he on that performance has problems for Izzy.
Yeah.
He has problems because in their last fight, and again, we'll go into it a different day. But in the last fight. Obviously, where he got knocked out, he has that blitzing style. He's in and out. He's very quick. But
that fight was done at the end of the first round, by the way. That fight was done.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah,
it was done and dusted.
Checked out. You could see it. He was like looking at the replay.
100%. It was like what we noticed. He was so patient. He was so patient and just composed. And I don't think we saw that in the Izzy fight as much. I feel like he was a little bit. I don't want to say starstruck because I don't mean starstruck, but he was a little bit sort of. I don't know, a little bit tentative. I think he just rushed it.
Yeah, at that point, Izzy was half like, not untouchable, but he had that allure, right?
He had that elusive sort of, 1000%. Which, and I know it's a completely different division, and I don't think it even changes his ability in his title. But the thing is, when you watch someone lose that's never lost, it just takes that away from. Even though it was in a completely different setting, and you have to respect him going up, but. We've all watched him lose now.
That hand didn't get raised.
No, exactly. And it plants that seed in your mind. I don't care if it was at light heavyweight or if it's at middleweight or welterweight, whatever it is. That seed is there and we watched him lose. And I think for Rob, that just gives him confidence going into the fight because it's what I said to you after it. I don't even think Gastelum was bad.
No, I just think Rob was so good.
1000%. I think he beats. I think he's the best of the rest really in that division, there or thereabouts, consistently. Probably not number 3 contenders, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you look at his fight with Izzy, he gave him like problems. I think Rob showed, and he has showed that his defence was so good. Like it's not
100%.
often something you see in MMA, particular like defence, like takedown defence, but like striking defence isn't something that you'd usually sort of say about an MMA fight. But Gastelum was winging that left hand, his southpaw, and Rob just blocked it every time or he moved out of the way of it.
Because let's be honest, we know that Gastelum left hand is money. Yeah. It is money. We've seen the damage it can do, can't we? That straight left.
Guy that
exists. 1000%.
Outside of Andy Ruiz.
It is absolute money. And it's like what you said, even after the fight, we were both like, his defence. And if you ever take someone that's watching a fight, a highly entertaining fight, and someone goes, "Coy, his defence is good," you must be like, wow, it must have probably been good to stand out, you know. And I think that is what was so impressive. Not only was his defence so good, but his counter striking was beautiful.
He's sharp.
Was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I don't think he put a foot wrong, to be perfectly honest.
It was a beautiful performance. He just wanted to be there, and I feel like when he was going into the Izzy fight, it's kind of what you said, not starstruck, right, but all like he's not really one for the glitz and the
No,
glamour
not
of
at
it.
all.
Do you know what I
Not
mean?
at all.
All the lead up,
No.
sort of New Zealand versus
which is
Australia.
what you get with
biggest
yeah,
crowd in
100%.
UFC history. It was all just a bit much, and he came out before that fight and said, like, I weren't happy. I was devoting all my time to training.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be there, and he had a bit of time off, and he
Yeah,
come back,
100%.
and he's just had this surge. Like, he's only fought top guys. He
Yeah.
fought Till, Cannonier. He just fought Gastelum. Did he get another one in there?
No, he
no.
had Till was his.
Yeah, and he outclassed them both, all three of them. Like, Till was a close fight, don't get me wrong, but he showed his like championship material, taking it late, getting the takedowns, which is coincidentally
and showed his chin in that fight as well. By the way,
he's got chin. He's improved defensively. His wrestling's looked so good in his last 3 fights. Outclassed a dangerous Cannonier over 3 rounds, which he probably really enjoyed. So like, that's a different fight now.
Yeah, 1,000%.
There's no doubt.
We said the same thing. We looked at each other after it and was like, he's a problem. Like, he is a problem because Izzy is one of the best counter strikers in the UFC. We know that for a fact. But
best striker.
Rob didn't look far off that.
Yeah.
Like, he genuinely did not look far off that. And we're not pegging him against someone outside the top 10 or 15, no disrespect, and sort of saying, oh, he looked very good. He was against Calvin Gastelum, who's one of the most experienced in that division. He's still young, and he's had looks against all the best in the division. He's no joke, you know, he is no joke. But he rocked up, and I think it's like what you touched on, which is a good point. I think Bobbie is best when it's on his terms.
Yeah.
And literally, if you watch all the presses and the build-up and whatnot, he was in his room, he was isolating, he was playing his games, he was gaming, he was with his old man.
How can you
Well,
not
this
love
is
Bobbie
it. He was
Knuckles?
just comfortable, and this is the thing. I think everyone operates in a very different way. Some people, like, you take a McGregor, loves the high drama, the pressure, the lights. He's not like that, and he doesn't feel comfortable with that. So when you get a massive fight, which is Izzy and Rob, that doesn't play into his hands whatsoever. And I think this time, where he could just be isolated, no fans, I think he thrived. I think he honestly thrived.
That would probably be with fans now.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. Because this weekend's the first one.
Yeah, even still, it's definitely a different fight. He'll go in with the confidence that Israel can be beat via wrestling. And you don't even know, right? If that fight goes later,
the wrestling is a factor.
And like,
it's a factor.
Rob's got fucking balls, man. Like, he'll go late. Do you know what I mean? He's a straight dog. And so is Adesanya. He showed that against Gastelum, right? But it's like, who's got more of that dog? If that fight goes later, you just don't know. It's a different fight. And then you've got 2 completely different fighters that have taken 2 completely different paths and come around and met again. Do you know what I mean? So I
think if you, like you said, we know that Rob is a dog. He is a dog.
Rob the dog.
And we know Izzy can mix it as well. But I think exactly like what you said, if Rob goes into the later rounds, he's got that ace up his sleeve.
I love Rob.
He's got that wrestling up his sleeve, which is dominant as well. By the way, he's no joke. He's got 2 black belts under his name as well. So he can take that fight anywhere. And like we sort of said before with the old Polish power, he's seen that blueprint, and I know that's in a different thing, but that fight played out the same. It was a striking battle, it went later, and then he used his wrestling to just edge it. And I feel like, it's a completely different dynamic, but it'd be unfair to not mention Kelvin Gastelum because he took some shots.
Yeah, he's tough as fuck, man.
He took some shots.
That Mexican head can take some punishment.
That chin. There's not many better in the UFC, I would say. I haven't seen it. Those head kicks.
He's got heart. Yeah, Rob's head kick's so sneaky.
They just flick up over the shoulders, don't they? Especially against that southpaw. And he just took them. He wobbled. But that was what was so good about him. He was so patient because he rocked him a couple of times, heavy as well, and he didn't even rush in because rushing in against
experience.
Exactly. It's exactly because he's still young. You know, he's only 30, so he's not.
You forget they've just been in the game.
Yeah, 100%. He's been and done it all, and I feel like. It feels like it's. I'm not going to say his time, but I feel like he's maturing at a good rate of where his experience at the top level is sort of coming together.
Yeah, he's in a good place.
100%.
Joe missed the boat. Who actually missed the boat?
Who's that?
Vittori. He
sailed.
Yeah.
Who's Vittori?
Exactly.
Who's
like,
Marvin Vittori? Who's Marvin Vittori?
He sat there in his suit and was just like, "Why are you here?" If you're not gonna, like, he should have I don't know, made a bit of a ruckus. But I think Rob left and he called him back to the octagon.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
No,
that's not how it works.
It's never ever worked like that.
This is why it was so funny, because he kicked up the fuss of, Dana, get me a ticket, get me a ticket.
He's so angry.
I was like, yeah, alright, fair enough. You know what?
I respect that.
Yeah, have your moment, do that, 100%. But there was 2 things. First of all, he didn't kick up a fuss, which you sort of need to do. And second of all, Rob was so good that it was like, let's not even discuss anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, we know that's easy and Rob.
It was a shutout.
It was a shutout performance, and that really was how it was. And we even sat there and laughed. It was like, yeah, Marvin? Who?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You put a suit on for nothing, Marvin.
100%, yeah. He got a flight to Vegas for nothing. Because he was meant to be going home to Italy as well, and he delayed the trip, I believe, to stay in Vegas for that. So, should have went home and had a couple of chip hours, I reckon. That's not an Italian joke. That's a Kevin Holland reference.
I still don't know if that's true or not. I just saw it.
It's true in my head.
Yeah, I made it true.
As always, you know all that good stuff. Drop us a like, a subscribe, hit the little bell icon to keep up to date. As well, drop us a follow at Casuals Corner to keep up to date with the Instagram as well. And then on the Instagram, you'll find the link to our TikTok and our Facebook and our podcast, just in case we weren't on enough platforms. You know the drill by now. Peace. Nice. Let's hope that was recording. Yeah, it was.